Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope everyone had a fantastic Eid and Ramadan. Today, we have a really important topic to discuss about, which affects the whole of our life indirectly. And we think it is so subtle that we don't even come to a conclusion about its effects on us. Today, I have with me my beloved brother Abu Al Hiqaya. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I hope you're doing well.
Walaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah, brother. I'm doing quite nice and everything is going quite fine for me. I had a nice Eid and that's actually really great. That was actually really great for me. How about you? Is everything going perfect for you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Everything's going perfect for me as far as
Mhm. So
Allah's
what
will.
we are gonna discuss about today?
Today, we're discussing about mainly subliminal messages. So, these are hidden influences that affect our mind, our heart, and everything around us. And initially, which shifts our belief system. So today we also have a presentation in front of our audience so they can actually read it through and understand what subliminal message is. And we're also going to explain and analyze some key factors about these and later on come to a conclusion.
That's really core and important aspect of our daily life, right? We really need to understand how things work around us. So subliminal messages, how subliminal tricks actually working around us. We really have to understand it, right,
Indeed.
brother?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So today we're going to explore it through five categories: visual, auditory, textual, and reverse and embedded symbolism. We're also going to break down the psychological tricks by the media companies and initially come to a conclusion and analyze through Islamic teaching from the Quran and classical tafsirs and hadiths.
So can you briefly discuss about visual issue and the things actually makes us believe differently? Can you discuss about that
Of course,
briefly?
I will discuss about it. First, I'm going to make our audiences understand what is subliminal message. So, subliminal message, these are the hidden influence. It could be through images, it could be through sounds, it could be through words, but it affects our unconscious mind. So we're not conscious about what's happening to us, it's indirectly affecting us. And yeah, many people could think that it's indirectly affecting us, it wouldn't, like affect my conscious mind. But it does. It affects your subconscious mind because scientifically, your subconscious mind is more active than your conscious mind. So these messages, they route it through your subconscious mind and they initially turn to habits, shifts in belief system, and are often depicted or brought upon in movies, music videos, ads, and social media. They are, as I said before,
Brother, I have to add to it, right? This issue is pretty much subtle, right? So it is subtle still yet so powerful. So it's really hard for us to understand how things actually work. Can you define it, how actually it works around us?
I could give an example. For example, that if I come to speak about visual subliminal message, right? When
Mhm.
visually we are influenced by it. For example, the trends that people follow about nowadays that you have to wear these and that. They initially change every 1 or 2 years, and people are like, okay, yeah, trends are changing. Like, there's no problem with that, right? It's not a big deal. But it is a big deal because you're not influenced by the trend within your conscious mind, but somewhat rather, you're being influenced by your subconscious mind throughout the influences you see in the society. For example, if you're walking through the high street or if you're walking through any path, right, you're gonna see an ad, and that ad most probably got some subliminal message or visual implementation in it. And you're gonna be influenced by it. Like, I like that shoe because it looks like that. So you like it because it looks like that. Also, people follow it. Why do people follow it? Because they also think it looks like that. So they never question that why does it look like that? Why does that shoe has his eye symbol, devil symbol, and why does it attract? They never question it. So when you feel like, yeah, why is it attracting me? Like when there's a questionative state in your mind, then you gotta think about it. Because these stuff are serious. And now our brother is gonna speak about why it matters to Muslims. Please, Abu Alika.
It actually matters for Muslim because we have to understand how our qalb or our understanding actually works, right? Everything is working around us as entities. If you think about that, right? There's a world of unseen that we are not aware about. So if you consider all this stuff, our belief system is always inaccurate. Considering it, like if you look at some sort of ads or something, there will always be some sort of hidden messages. Have you ever seen the movies Snow White or some other movies like
Exorcism.
I don't exactly remember it. So can you add to it like the movie like Snow
The
White
movies
and some
like
other
Snow
movies?
White,
Hmm.
Exorcism, then different
Yeah.
aspects of, Spider Man.
Hmm.
In Spider Man, for
All those.
example, when you're
Yeah.
watching Spider Man, you're going to see different aspects of the evil eye, right?
Not
And it
only
is
about
praised throughout.
Spider-Man. If you really think about this, like Harry Potter, right? Harry
Hmm,
Potter movies and some other movies like something dark, they actually popularize dark or something differently. They actually want to promote something because when we look at the details of those movies, we will always gonna find something weird about those movies, right? If they
indeed.
always yeah, they always want to give us some sort of message, and actually subconsciously we always follow it because our conscious mind couldn't detect it, but our subconscious mind always detected. And without knowing for us, without knowing it, we always want to make things actually work for us, and it actually somehow makes us feel harmful. So if you're considering all this stuff, right, in the process of it, we are normalizing it. Like if you start doing if you start doing haram things at first, right, you will feel bad about that, right? Because at that moment you are a sensitized person. But after doing that haram things over and over again, you will get desensitized. When you get desensitized, you start to normalize it. So subliminal message, all these symbols actually always goes through our heart and make things actually worse for us, and actually it's hampering our iman in this sense. So if you're looking at the teaching of Islam, the purity of heart really matters, right? That's why we have to purify our heart to make sure that all these messages, symbols doesn't affect us, right?
Indeed, brother. Well spoken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Now we're going to go to visual subliminal messages and what are they? If, brother,
Mm-hmm.
you continue.
These are actually hidden images and symbols in the media, right? Often flashed quickly and placed in the background, right? If you listen to any sort of music or something, right, there will always be some sort of background noises and sounds that we couldn't detect it, consciously we couldn't detect it, and we don't know what it is. But subconsciously, it will always gonna affect us, right? Our brain sees and stores them even if we don't notice them consciously. So common in music videos and movies as cartoons and even clothing designs, it always gonna make us feel, or it actually makes us like, actually it gives us a craving feeling to move towards that. So in this sense, this sort of messages actually have some sort of negative impact. Like visually you can detect a lot of things, but when you look at something, right, if you look at closely, you'll always feel something weird about those kind of symbols. Like if you think about the eyes, right? Like a one-eye symbols and some other symbols. Those symbol doesn't usually mean only symbol as a face value. Those symbol usually always gonna have some sort of inner meaning. So if you look at those symbols, it will always have some sort of inner meaning, and it gonna cause some sort of harm for you. So if you consider it, that does have some sort of way of understanding. So questioning ourselves does matter here. So when we buying things or looking for something, that we need to go through it and need to find out what we are actually doing it. What sort of craving actually get us into it. So if you're considering it, so you should look at it. Yeah,
Often,
bro.
well spoken, brother. Hey, also, I'm going to bring up some examples of visual subliminal messages here, as you can
Yeah,
see, though.
yeah,
That in, like, for example, in the horror movies, often demonic faces are flashed between
yeah.
frames, right? But you're going to see, like,
Like
yeah,
the
that's okay.
definite, right?
Demonic frame,
The yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Like
demonic
no, no, not only
faces.
that. If you think about the 66 symbol, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The 66
66, then
number is
different.
not only just a number. It it has some hidden meanings, right?
Exactly, brother. But also, there's a catch on it because, yeah, people are gonna watch horror movies. They're gonna see different kinds of demons and stuff, but they're gonna be petrified like for 2 or 3 days after that, right? They're always gonna
Mm-hmm.
think about it. So that's the subliminal message right there, which is affecting your unconscious mind. For example, you watch the horror movie. You're going to sleep now. You might dream about the demon, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking that,
Absolutely.
yeah, you're thinking in your conscious mind that no, this is a movie. I should not take serious of it. But you should
Mm-hmm.
also question it. Why is it coming to your dream? But different
Look,
people, different
it's not
scientists,
okay. Okay,
they're
I
gonna
want
back
to
it
add to
off.
it, right? Look, addition to that, right? Maybe you're thinking that it's not real, but today's movies like becoming really realistic, right? That's the problem, right? You can't differentiate whether it's a real or not, or
Indeed,
whether it's a fake or real. Even if you look at the AI generated images, right? Those are so realistic that you start to question yourself, that's even possible for anything, right? So you are not able to differentiate between the fakeness and realistic issues, and that's actually so like outlandish anyways. So if you question yourself in any way, you have to ask yourself what you actually looking at. So we have to scrutinize everything before going through anything, right?
indeed, Myrtle. Now we're gonna move to how visual messages affect the brain. So
Absolutely.
as we know that brain records every image, even
Mm-hmm.
what we don't focus on. So people often,
Absolutely.
they're gonna watch something and they're gonna, remember about it a year later, because brain knows it all. And because your conscious mind didn't actually focus on it, doesn't mean the brain's not gonna accept it. Because your
Mm-hmm.
subconscious mind is always watching and analyzing everything. So when
Mm-hmm.
these repeated visuals are implemented through our society, what happens is that our heart, like, it accepts it. It makes sin normalized. It's like zina.
Mm-hmm.
Like zina used to be a thing that was, when spoken about, it was really deemed harm. And
Mm-hmm.
now, no, it is normalized. So you can see the initial acceptance of heart within people about these and initial normalization of these. So yeah, like different subliminal visual messages, they affect through different aspects. For example, through emotional aspects. So you can have loss, rebellion, violence, and we have a part of the brain called the amygdala. So it is in the bottom side of our brain, the back side of our brain. So little part, but it affects our emotional thinking. So these subliminal messages, they also affect our emotional thinking, which is responsible for violence and other factors here. So
Mm-hmm.
you're often going to see that throughout watching horror
It's like a
movies, some
catharsis
people.
effect, right?
Exactly. So throughout watching
Mm-hmm.
horror movies, some people went crazy. Some people are crazy. Some people don't like it. They just change their lifestyle. They're all
Yeah,
mysterious
some
now,
people
this and
actually
that.
get influenced by it, right? Like they want to follow it, right? They want to mimic it.
They,
Like,
they want to follow it. They want to mimic it. So this also, like, all comes down to the aspect of that your brain, your subconscious mind records everything, right? But that's for good
mhm,
reasons. But this is what the media and other platforms, they took advantage of, and they're implementing it through all of it. So another thing is seeing haram now becomes entertainment for a lot of people. And initially, the focus on subconscious mind, what your subconscious mind recorded, actually, process and, influence your conscious mind. So now you're in your conscious mind, you're thinking, yeah, haram is good. Haram is good. Satan is telling
Yeah,
you,
that's
yeah,
the
do a
thing.
bit of
Forbidden
haram,
things always
nothing's
taste
gonna
sweet.
happen.
That's the issue, right? Like
Indeed.
it feels really good to do haram. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, like coming to
That's why
think about
people
it,
like to follow it.
it the same story happened to one of my friends in Riyadh, and he was a man.
Okay. Yeah. Hello.
Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I had some
Yeah, yeah,
problems.
yeah, yeah. You can
So
continue. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so he was a good man, and like always, he was in a really wealthy family, and yeah, we met around in Fortnite, the old times, and I used to always hear about him, like always talking about Islam, always talking about Deen and everything. But just because of peer influence, just because of him starting horror movies and stuff, it led him to zina.
Yeah.
So there's aspects of it that even the people with the highest amount of faith or iman, Allah knows best who's got iman, but we can clearly see which people got iman by their deeds. But they
Mm-hmm.
even come to be trapped within the subliminal messages of the media and the surroundings. So, in simple terms, you can see that what the eye watches daily, the heart begins to love. That's a simple phrase to mean it. So,
That's why it's really important for us to cleansing our hearts, right? Our nerves, our house needs to be cleansing.
indeed, indeed, it has to by following the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, which is derived by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, I've implemented some texts here in a series so you guys can understand how the visual affects us. So, it starts from image that you see it, then it goes to your subconscious mind, it records it, then the subconscious mind, it affects the amygdala, so it affects like your loss, your like rebellion against things, violence. And when I'm saying rebellion, it means rebellion against religion, because when we come to question it, like why after watching these, why are we questioning our faith, our iman? The questioning status tells us a lot that this is Satan trying to deceive us. Then after
Hmm?
emotions, it comes into habits. That I'm like I was praying 5 times. Now after watching the movie, I'm not. I miss 2 rakats. I miss this, that. Like it comes naturally after watching these. Then the total belief shift. When your habits are normalized and it's a routine for you to watch horror movies, do this, have evil eye in your profile, different aspects, then your whole belief shift changes. There's like now you're gonna start criticizing religion, condemning different aspects, then even questioning the prophet itself. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it all comes down to because yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with you regarding that. Yeah. Now we can go to next slide. Yeah. Islam warns about what we see. Absolutely. Yeah. You can continue, bro.
So the Quran in Surah 24 verses 30 to 31, what it says, I'm exactly quoting it. Tell the believing men and women to lower their gaze. Allah commands us to preserve our heart, preserve our eyes, yet we don't. So, what we mean by this phrase, it doesn't only mean to, like when a woman's passing by you, you have to lower your gaze. It doesn't only like affect in that aspect. It tells us that what we even see, right, what we even see, we have to control it. Our nafs has to control it. And this verse is particularly not only for the time of the Prophet, because as we know in the Quran throughout, people who have read the Quran, people who go by the Quran, they know that the Quran directly questions you. And it talks about every aspect, even in the future. So the Quran, the book itself is timeless. because it's the divine revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another
Mhm.
thing is the Quran, it protects the soul from fitna, temptation. And there's a lot of fitna around in today's day. And we often come to fitna in every sort. Even there's fitna within religious aspects of our life because Satan has implemented in every step. Every step we take, there's fitna. But what saves us
Yeah,
from the fitna
like
is to
it's like it starts with small thing, right? Like the
indeed. Yeah,
tafsir of Ibn Kathir, actually it says that, right? Shaitan starts with small things. Look at like how things are working around us, right? People always start from small thing, right? Look at the symbols and small things or something like that. After that, things get bigger, right? They start doing bigger things, right? Doing like major harams and something like that. Like they fall into major haram sins or something, major sins. So if you consciously think about it, right? So everything start with small thing.
indeed.
The the little glance, like you looking at something, at first you maybe think it's harmless, right? It's not gonna affect that much. But after a while, when you start normalizing it, you will feel it that things are start to get bigger, right? You started to
Indeed,
fall
indeed,
into a
brother.
bigger scene,
That's why we have
step
to
by
go
step.
look back to the emotional aspect of this. That, as you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned right here, a beautiful sentence there. You start with small things and you
Hmm.
perceive it as being harmless. But this
Yeah.
is what the Satan wants you to think, that it is
Mhm,
harmless.
absolutely. That's
So
that's
you
the way,
approach
the
it.
deception of devil, right? The
Yeah, the
devil's
deception of the
deception.
devil. That's the thing.
Hmm.
And this is how humans us are, that we're gonna think that we're approaching a lion, by its glance. It's so cute and that, but it's not. It's not. Furious. That's the thing.
Hmm.
We humans, we often perceive things as harmless
Yeah.
because we come to think that we are the best.
Hmm.
But indeed, we are the fools if we don't follow according to
Absolutely.
what Allah
Like the
subhanahu
thing,
wa
right?
ta'ala has
If you
prescribed.
continuously watch haram things repeatedly, right, it's gonna get desensitized until you get normalized, right?
As far as in the hadith, you guys can see, the glance is a poisoned arrow from shaitan. So
Yeah.
imagine even our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he emphasized on glance, he emphasized on looking at a thing, because a look, a visual on a thing can change your whole aspect of deen. That's the thing, because Allah gave us eyes to see, for us to see good, for not us to
Hmm.
see bad.
Bad.
So,
Yeah.
and another aspect that Abu al Hiqaya stated, that watching haram repeatedly, normalizing sin and disconnecting from Allah. This is true, as he explained. The further you watch haram, the more haram you do, and coming back to it, it becomes into habit, and initially your belief system changes.
That's what exactly media is doing, right? They always
Indeed.
start with small thing until you get used to it, right? When you get used to it, then media force you to go for much more bigger or much more major, like I don't know how to put into word, that's a thing, right? Then after that, media always gonna push you something much more bigger, right? That's how
Indeed.
devil actually work. The devilish media always push you to go for bigger scene or something like that. Like if you think about the auditory subliminal messages, these are hidden symbols and sounds and voices, actual messages in music and videos that clear we don't clearly actually hear, right? But our brain still absorb it. So brother Al Wahid, you should discuss about that, right?
So, as Abu Hilqaya said, that these are hidden messages or voices that we hear, and our brain or our subconscious mind, it of course it absorbs everything that revolves around us. That is, we are not paying attention to, in simple
Mhm.
words. So the sound, this is
Yeah,
usually
it might be
linked
very
into
quiet, mixed
music,
with into
different
music or something,
verses.
right?
Yeah,
Like
different
okay.
musics,
Yeah,
different,
yeah.
like, videos and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
often what happens is, in the videos, they're always, like, having a shift in our belief or mood. You're gonna see, for example, Often when people are depressed, there's a trend of hearing depressed songs. But when you hear a depressed song, you get more depressed. And people don't question it. Like, you get
Absolutely,
more depressed
absolutely.
into it,
So
right?
when you're depressed, you're listening to a depressed song. That's much more depressing, right?
And
You
that
feel
doesn't even
more
have a
much.
conclusion to it. You're depressed, you're listening to a depressed song. You should be listening to, like, okay, song, the whole aspect of song is haram, but within the
Yeah,
fitna, if you cannot quit what, like, listening to music, then you can have a, like, motivated music, because there are motivated musics.
absolutely,
You can listen to the Quran is going to motivate you.
absolutely, right. Quran can motivate you in many ways. You don't have to listen to those musics at all. So if you like listen to, if you start listening to like depressing music, you'll get depressed, right?
Indeed.
So yeah, that's actually never gonna work end of the day, right? If you get depressed every single time. So stop watching it and listening to it. That's the thing. In the core aspect of it actually does matter in this way. So stop listening to it.
So this exactly, well, initially within the music, like, subliminal messages and everything, we actually, like, sometimes hear, sometimes, like, some things, for example, in um depressing songs or other aspects in rock or different music genres. What we're gonna hear is, there's no God, kill yourself, then
Yeah, yeah.
don't
In the
believe
background.
it. I'm gonna, like, they promote suicidal stuff also.
Mhm.
And as far
It's
as
like
speaking of suicide,
it's like
there's always,
shaitan.
oh,
Yeah, it's like shaitan whispering into your eye, into your ears or something, right?
yes,
It
Satan
actually
plants sinful thoughts. He plants it and lets the seed grow. And this is the perfect example that, as far as Abu Hikaya said. And there's also a quote here, just like poison can hide in sweet drinks, sin can hide in sweet stones. So that tells us a
absolutely.
lot.
That's really that's really true, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now we're going to
That's
speak
how
about
that's how
how,
intrusive thought
yeah,
actually comes in, right?
indeed, indeed, brother. So now we're going to speak about how hidden sounds affect the mind. Now,
The
Abu
brain
al-Hikaya,
circulation
please lead us.
even we don't focus on it, especially repeated message, right? Like if you look into like repeated message, if your mind keeps thinking about it, right, it's always gonna affect you, whether it's a negative impact or whether you're gonna have negative impact or positive impact, right? Like if you start listening to some negative music or if you always gonna get into negative messages, it's always gonna have some sort of negative impact. So, brother, like if you really think about the hidden sounds that can change our mood and emotion without us knowing and why, it's actually the general impact that we always, like all the people always have, right?
Indeed.
Like yeah, yeah, indeed. So if you if you really wanna discuss about the overtime, how it's gonna affect us, can you discuss about it?
Over time, it's the same as visual, but even more dangerous, because what we, for example, our whole system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted and, like, structured us is magnificent. And the way we are, for example, for our eyes we can see and visualize stuff, for our ears we can hear and analyze it and further put it into visualization. So what like eventually happens is, what you hear, for example, there's no God, kill yourself, God is bad, different aspects about, like, demeanoring religion. Then you start to visualize it, further reflecting back to the subliminal visual messages. Then,
No wonder why people in the West hate God, right? That's
yeah,
the
like,
thing.
this is the thing, because music is a big influence in the West, and they have, no aspect of learning without it, because they're trapped within a system where, like, even if the dawah comes to them, like, they're gonna reject it, because they're so much into temptation of Satan. And even within us
It's
Muslims
like
listening
worshiping
to,
your own desire or something, right? Like
yeah,
you're always listening to your temptation or something. following your desire.
Yeah, like
It's a
that's
spirit as
also a
well,
good
right?
aspect that also makes us think like we are gods of our world. Astaghfirullah. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's different aspects, and also like why are not people questioning it? Why is the music media and everything always, questioning God? Why are they always mocking God? This used to not be the thing within Christian, Muslims, and Jews, even like 500-600 years ago. Yeah, there were still people who were satanic enough to mock God and stuff, but that was not the population. How come a small population of Satanists and other groups that are related to that, other occult groups, how come they actually shifted the whole belief system of billions of people? That you should question that, audiences.
Hmm.
Also, listening to such content often makes us less focused in salah, less connected to zikr. Zikr means remembrance of Allah, and more
Hmm.
distracted. So,
Hmm.
usually, what happens is Salah is related to zikr and taqwa. You don't have consciousness of
No,
Allah.
okay, like we need to clarify it, right? The word dhikr means remembering Allah, right? Consciously, you have to remember Allah every single time or every single moment. That's the thing.
Indeed,
So,
indeed. You have to have taqwa, which means conscious. You have to be conscious about Allah in order
hmm,
to remember Allah. Then you would not get distracted. This is a simple formula I can put
absolutely.
into. Also,
Mm-hmm.
the thing we just spoke about, this is from a source. You can check it out. This is from Leonard Lodono. He speaks about, he's got a book and an article about subliminal, how your unconscious mind rules your behavior. It was published in 2012. It's a really nice study, and you can actually check it out. Yeah, and he also has other aspects. Also, I'm going to further mention. Now we're going to talk about what Islam says about hidden sounds. Abu Al Hiqai, if you please proceed.
Yeah, bro. Thanks for it. And classical scholars warn that shaitan often uses the words to confuse truth and falsehood, right? This
Yeah,
starts with changing the meanings of things, right? Calling sin like freedom or something like that, or haram relationships as a love or something like all this stuff, right? If you consider like fall into haram relationship and if you feel like it's just a love or something, it actually sounds good, right?
yeah.
Giving haram things like nice meaning
Again, making
makes
haram
makes you
halal.
feel good. Yeah, making haram things halal, like it sounds good, so we should follow it. That's how people think, right? Just because it sounds good. So
Yeah, that's
when
where the
it
deception plays.
okay, yeah, go on. Yeah, carry
And
on. Yeah.
also, like if we look at tafsir books, this is a sign of moral corruption. What does moral corruption means? Corrupting yourself.
Yeah,
Corrupting
absolutely.
yourself.
If you
When
don't have
you
any
call
moral ground, then
halal,
you have no right to talk about that.
yeah,
So
when
moral
you
corruption
call
does matter here.
indeed, indeed, brother. Like when you call haram halal, you're doing hypocrisy to yourself, and you're being hypocrite about the religion itself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like repeatedly says in Surah Baqarah and different surahs about the hypocrites being one of the most deadliest sins. Hypocrisy being most deadliest sins. Because you're first of
Absolutely.
all, you know the truth, but you're also denying the truth because you're normalizing the aspect of what is haram and halal. You know it, what is halal and haram. Your mom and dad, your parents throughout your generation, everyone has said what is haram and you know it, but indeed you start to halalize it. So this is where the moral corruption takes place. Here, Tafsir ibn Kathir, a famous Islamic scholar, he explains that
Mhm.
when people begin to mix truth with lies, it becomes easy to justify sin. This is well spoken because I'm going to explain what he means by this. So, when I'm speaking to a person and I am speaking in a really eloquent way to him, and indeed my words, some of them are true and some of them are false, but people, they're gonna think that the whole of it is true. So yeah,
Mhm.
like in the songs and other hidden sounds, they're gonna say, for example, we can see here they state freedom. Then after that, they state haram relationships, loves. So this aspect of freedom, freedom sounds like, yeah, freedom is a good thing. But that good thing mixed to a bad thing makes the whole of it sound a good thing, but it's not. So this is what Ibn Qatil means by mixing truth with lies, which becomes easy for us to justify sin.
That's the thing. Like, if you wanna deceive people, right? Deceive anyone, then you have to mix truth with lies. That's the thing. The greatest deception actually is mixing truth with lies. Look, if you think about the Dajjal, right? The Antichrist. He wasn't like that. He's gonna talk lies or something like that. He's a person who will be talking like he was deceiving people, right? He will start with truth, then he will mix it with lies or something, right? Mixing it with falsehood and everything in his speech. And this is how deception actually works. The like art of deception actually really crazy thing for anyone, right? If
Indeed, brother.
someone actually master it, he can deceive anyone if he wants. Well, okay, bro, continue.
Often we see in psychopaths and different
Like
movies,
con artists, right? Not only psychopaths or something, like con artists.
yeah, con
The
artists,
way they actually deceive people. The
they
illusion.
come to deceive people with bringing up illusions that they're good people and with some of truth. Because always you're gonna see is, guys, that truth, it also has a subliminal effect on you. Truth itself.
Actually okay, bro. I wanna add to it, right? That's actually like a white magic, right? Many
Yeah,
people actually don't know what white magic no, means, right? Many people actually do know what black magic means, but white magic is something like that is much more, way worse than black magic. Like, when you like look at those people, like their speech is so eloquent, right? You start to believe them or something, like you can't even consider them whether they're telling lie or not. So eloquently they are mixing lies with truth and making things appear so perfect. People actually fall into it, and end of the day they actually deceive themselves in this way. So brother al Wahid, you can continue, right?
yeah, like even scholars also say that when the words are repeated in songs or media, like,
Mhm,
recent scholars who actually spoke about this, they
mhm,
stated that they become part of your thinking, as far as we discussed before. Even if you
mhm,
don't agree at first, hearing them again and again softens your stance. Softens your stance in particular paragraph means that it believes, like, it shifts your belief system. So your stance is your belief system. My stance is I believe in Islam. But their stance often shifts from Islam to other satanic or sub satanic divisions. Many
mhm.
scholars of tafsir say, exactly, I'm quoting it, words are seeds, as we mentioned before in the slide. Words are seeds. Shaitan plants them in your heart through speech, then waters them through repetition. So here we can see the clear aspect, audiences, that the aspect of repetition here actually, signifies our lives a lot. Because repetition, whether we're reading a book, once we start repeating the book, completing the book, even, like when we start like reading the Quran and repeating it, like, again and again, we start to memorize it. It's in our heart and it's on our mind. This is what the shaitan knows, that when our humans are repeating sins, we start to, shift in our belief system. So this is what it means by softens your stance. So in the end, when you sing along to or scroll past every day in social media or anything, it can shape what you believe in, right? It can normalize it. And even if it goes against the Quran or Sunnah, as far as Abu al-Hiqaya says, that it makes halal haram.
Mhm.
So there's different
Absolutely.
concepts. There's one concept of tazi'in al-batil, so beautiful falsehood, exactly what we said. So
Okay,
scholars of tasbih,
brother Al Wahid, can you zoom it, right? That,
I think I
yeah,
can, yes.
yeah, you zoom it, right?
So
Yeah, yeah.
scholars scholars of tafsir explain that shaitan beautifies evil speech to make it attractive and convincing. And we often get this statement, or we can like relate to it in different speeches. People often says like, why Allah has done this, Allah is not like the just. They're making these
It's
like
like a cursing
claims.
Allah, right? That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
People are cursing Allah in this way.
they're cursing Allah, and they're like, disobedience to Allah is more like, promoting every aspect. For example, it is promoting zina, it is promoting freedom slogans. And as far as I said again, that freedom, the word freedom for people, it might come to different aspects. Some what people think freedom is America. America is freedom. When you think about America, it's freedom. But nothing is freedom in this world. We are influenced by everything within it, and the word freedom
You're
is a
not gonna get
lie.
anything for free. That's not possible. That's the thing you have to realize, right?
So
Everything has consequences.
indeed, brother, everything has consequences. And the thing about is, even though everything has consequences, we all humans always have time to change, but we don't have time to change when like 60 years old, 50 years old, because this is when our belief system is totally shifted, and we often have not enough time to change. So I'm now going to go to the point number two, where Islamic scholars, they're warning uh, from the ulama, like the Islamic scholars. Some scholars have said the tongue is the door to the heart. If it sings falsehood, the heart
That's
learns to love
that's
it.
really deep. That's really deep,
That's
right?
really
The
deep.
tongue,
That's really deep. That's
yeah,
actually
the
goes back
tongue is
to
door to the
Ibn
heart,
Kathir,
right?
what Ibn
If you
Kathir
think about
says.
it, like, look, if you think about it deeply, you'll find it, right? If you open the door, it's really hard to stop.
See, Ibn
Yeah.
Kathir. No, this totally goes with this one where I'm showing you that. Wait. See, words are seeds. Shaitan plants them in your heart through speech, then waters them through repetition. This is exactly what the Islamic scholars also said, that the tongue is the door to the heart. And if it sings falsehood, if it promotes falsehood, the heart learns to love it. So the heart
Mhm.
at first, as far as al-Hiqaya and different scholars,
Yeah,
they said
yeah. Like
that
if your heart starts to love it, right, then you'll always hate that. You will always gonna hate the truth, right? Whenever you're gonna hear any truth or something, right, you'll always gonna feel
exactly,
dislike.
brother. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go to moral confusion, which is in Arabic called Talbis Iblis. So Imam
Hmm.
Ibn
The
al
devil discipline.
Jawzi, he wrote a book called Talbis Iblis, the Devil's Deception. And the Devil's Deception is the main thing we're actually talking about. And see that we ourselves, we didn't mention that we're talking about devil's deception, but indeed we are, because the devil's deception is so core, it is so influenced through our society, it is within everything and each thing, right? So Imam Ibn al-Jawzi explains how shaitan uses soft language and emotional words to lead people into misguidance. So perfect example, music, depressing music. You can do it, you can do it, it's okay to sin, it's okay for people to hate you. These like common aspects, this actually impact the youth itself. So let's I'm gonna end this slide with modern day fitna. If you talk about modern day fitna, Abu Al please.
It's like how it says, right? Many scholars today say that music is major cause of spiritual weakness, right? Like if you think about it, right? After after Salah, like every time, right? If you go to Salah, you will when you like when you feel khushu during the Salah, that it feels really great, right, bro?
Yeah,
At that moment. But after finishing the Salah, if you start listening to music, right? How are you gonna feel? You'll feel like that your spirituality is getting weaker, like every
indeed.
moment. That's the thing, right? Like you can't mix haram with halal. Like if you feel like good thing with poisonous thing, then whole thing will get poisonous, right? So if you look at the how things actually working on, right, how our spiritual aspect actually getting weaker, then we'll always gonna find it out, right, how music
Exactly.
actually plays the vital role here. Like if you listen to those like modern day songs or all these things, like just look those artists. Like if you look at those artists, like if you think about the Britney Spears, right, we all know who's Britney.
Yeah.
Like yeah, she like when she was like when she was in her 20s, like early 30s or something like that, she was really popular at that moment. Like but now if you look at her, right, she's pretty much hysterical. Like she's like
Exactly.
saying a
We
crazy
even look
crazy
at about
thing.
Keisha. Um,
Yeah.
like some people, like heard the song TikTok on the clock.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, yeah. Keisha, the TikTok. Yeah, yeah. I
Keisha, yeah.
remember.
So
Yeah.
Keisha, she was actually attracted to the music industry by Diddy itself, but she later
Mhm.
on was sexually abused, and different aspects came onto which made her leave the music industry. And she now speaks about it and protests against it. So many people have, like many artists within the music industry, they have absorbed it. Some do not speak about it, and some speak about it, and you're going to see the exact deception within the people also, because the devil's deception is not only truth versus false. Even within the false, sometimes the truth arises, but the devil always tries to even minimize the truth within the falsehood. So within
Yeah.
like
It's
different
like a like
rappers,
it's like a glance of light in the darkness. That's
yeah,
the thing.
indeed, within different rappers like Lil Durk, then like different rappers who are Muslims, right? But within like them being Muslims, they're still making music and promoting the, like different aspects. And yeah, they're saying different things which the Ummah is thinking, yeah, this is Islam, but this is indeed not Islam, because they're making the wrong people their role model. What it signifies if they're Muslims? Even some people who are bad were Muslims during the time of the Prophet, right? That doesn't mean they're good people, right? A hypocrite can be a Muslim in the eyes of everyone, but he's not Muslim in the eyes of Allah, right? Is the
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So now we're
Yeah,
gonna speak
it's like
about
a
how,
cultural Muslim or something like that, right?
yeah, cultural
Culturally,
Muslim.
he can be called as a Muslim, but to the eyes of Allah, he will always remain hypocrite.
We spoke about this. I'm gonna shift it. Okay, now we're gonna speak about
Reverse
reverse
subliminal,
subliminal messages.
subliminal message. Okay.
So,
These are hidden messages or symbols that are reversed and distorted and disguised to confuse the brain. Okay, so can you discuss about that in detail?
of course, I'm gonna proceed with this. And often, what happens is, if you guys exactly search up the thing subliminal messages, you're gonna come with the videos. Actually, should I go to the videos itself?
Yeah, yeah,
Like people can see me, right? The stream. Let me go to the
yeah.
videos itself.
Like no, no, no. Like if you added the video on the slide or something, then people can watch it, right?
No, like
Did
if I
you?
change the stream, can they watch it?
No, 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 no. Now,
Okay.
if you change it, like if you change it, the stream things
Like to
can get messed
YouTube.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Things can get messed up right now. So, yeah.
Okay, okay. So I'm not going to proceed with that as far as like for our team is having some problems. Um,
Hmm.
so what exactly I want you to do is subliminal message. When you search it, you're going to come across different videos in YouTube that are in like fast forwarded to track. So they're going to make different sounds like zzz, like this, right? and they're gonna have hidden words with it. And there's actually people praising reverse subliminal message. They think it, cures different aspects of your life. It like foretells the future, and they're believing in these hidden sounds and messages to be exactly good for the good for you. And what the hidden messages often do is it confuses the brain. So when it confuses the brain, what happens is, as far as our subconscious mind records everything, the brain tries to even uncrack the subconscious, like the subconscious message, right? That we gain, because our brain is constantly focusing and cracking codes and everything. People are thinking our brain is sat. No, our brain is not sat around and sleeping like you guys. Our brain is actually working, and indeed it's you
Yeah,
guys
it's
and your
working every
subconscious
single
mind who are
moment.
sitting in the bed all day and sleeping. So it is not the brain to be like blamed about. So this is common in music, movies, or artwork. Some messages only make sense when played backwards or decoded, as far as it says. Your brain tries to decode it every time, and when it decodes it, it comes with there's other like aura aspect of it, like different connections. As far as Abu Al Hikaya said about white magic and black magic, there's different aspects of black magic within reverse subliminal messages. So
Absolutely.
the goal here is to make sinful ideas feel mysterious, powerful, or cool. So yeah, often like you see around social media, different people and different artists they promote that they're really mysterious. For example, Kanye West. Kanye West promotes what he's really mysterious, and that people think it's cool. It's cool to dress like the KKK, like in black, but it's not cool. It's not cool because there's always a hidden message. For example, people who are like dressing like the KKK, right?
Actually, I want to add to it, right? That's the thing, right? That's not exactly a hidden message. They're actually doing it openly right now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, yeah, at the certain level, right? Early on, they used to go for like subliminal messages. Through that, they wanna go like they're actually it's like opening the portal, right? After realizing it, they are now going for it in an open manner. Like now they are doing it openly,
Exactly.
so
They have
they are
no
not
shame.
hiding it anymore.
The aspect of shame and the aspect of them being desensitized and all of these, even the audiences itself who are watching and following the artists, they're starting to feel like the artists are somewhat of God and they should follow him everywhere and every else. But we should really question it. Why is the attraction always coming from them? And the attraction comes from their music and their videos and different aspects of like acting and stuff like that. Promoting different stuff. But why are these stuff only influencing you? So people should actually question that. Why are these stuff influences you? So now we're going to talk
Mhm,
about what Islam says about hidden and reverse images. So Islamic
mhm.
scholars they warned often throughout the tabi'in, even like today in the modern scholars, that confusing the truth is a tool of Satan. As we mentioned before, that some people they are deemed eloquent, but they are not, because they mix the truth with the false in order to be deemed like eloquence. So falsehood often looks like truth, and sin look like freedom. The aspect of this actually changed throughout our youths in every aspect also.
Mhm.
And tafsir scholars they explain that shaitan loves deception, especially when it comes to art, symbols, and mysterious messages. This particular statement here is, as we can often see, is in different artworks. Like there's a other connection with it. You're gonna feel connected to it, but the connection, you have no explanation for it. But you have explanation for it if you actually research about it and how bad the art of deception is, the devil's deception, tablis
Mhm.
iblis. When
Yeah.
something is mocking religion, using symbols of rebellion or flipping meanings, it is a sign of moral decay. So often
Mhm.
mocking religion, people nowadays they think it's fun. It's fun to mock religion. They're gonna have statements like religion is old. There's no point following it. There's better things to do than following religions. Like these
So
symbols, these reverse messages.
what they are actually saying like is it was like a 2025. Still, we have to fall for those religion or something. That's how they actually look into it, right?
Yeah,
So They always think that, oh, religion is really backdated, God is backdated. That's how they are actually treating religion. So what they are actually doing and thinking that actually making them full of themselves. That's it, right? That's how
Indeed.
actually moral decay actually working for, like working around them, right?
Also, Abu Al Hikaya, you should speak about this because my major is not this aspect. So you should speak about like how people are using the cultic behaviors here. Also, like
Mhm.
reading Quran backwards.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? That's
Defiling
a like
Quran. This
rearranging the
aspect.
word of the Quran or something like that's the thing what they are doing. That's a part of sihir, like or magic. Like in the music, in the music world, in the auditory, in the auditory scenario, they're actually doing it as well. Like they're actually making things backward or something like that. So reversing thing and reversing every word actually always gonna give you some sort of magic, some sort of magical word. Like if you think about the dog, right? The reverse of dog is God.
See, the deception is right there, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you reverse the word God, it will become dog. So now you can see how actually things are getting into it. Like that's actually really deep thing, right? If you think about it, that's actually changing the whole scenario. So Al Wahid, if you think about that, the reversing every single word, like the meaning of everything always gonna be reversed, right? Like for example, the word dog or God or all this thing, it's not only about this thing or this word. Like it actually
Exactly, bro.
exists within everything. Like reversing any sentences or any word will always gonna change the meaning. So reverse messages is always gonna have some sort of negative impact in our mind. Like in our mind is always gonna play with
Yeah,
us.
because what
Like
it
our intrusive
promotes
thought is gonna always
is
gonna come into us. Yeah, go on.
the truth is always stated in the Quran as the straight path. But
Mm-hmm.
rather than walking in the straight path, if you try to walk back and reverse the aspect of straight path, then you're mixing the truth with lies. Then you're being a
Mm-hmm.
hypocrite throughout the things. So this
Mm-hmm.
is how the hidden messaging opens
That's
the
how
door
Shaitan
to
plays.
spiritual
The devil
danger.
plays the game, right? It's gonna come into your mind and whisper into your ears that he's gonna say reverse the word or reverse the message, right? It's gonna change the whole meaning. That's how actually
Exactly.
shaitan or
This is
devil
a
plays with
beautiful
your
quote
mind.
here. Shaitan doesn't just tempt, he tricks, masks, and rewrites the truth.
Rewrite the truth.
Exactly.
The his own version of truth. That's the thing. But
Now,
you shouldn't forget the shaitan or devil is is a person who is a constantly lie.
yes,
Yeah, he's the one who
there's
is
also
actually
people
constantly
like the
lie.
Karmatians, then other, like, recent people who are actually going by the devil and saying the devil is good. They're rebellious
Yeah.
against God. They have the satanic behavior of, like, rebelling against God. They're putting
Mhm.
their attributes and canceling that and actually implementing Satan's attributes in their life in order to, be cool or, just go by Satan's orders. And this is
Yeah.
what the reverse message also like comes to it. Reverse message doesn't only means that you're seeing like the Quran being defiled or like other aspects of its music videos, songs are, sampled and backtracked. This is not it. It has aspects of reversing your actions also. This is also reverse message. So we're
Hmm.
now gonna speak about how reverse message tricks the mind. Close. I'm gonna try to go through this quickly as we already spoke about this. These messages cause confusion in the brain. We sense something but can't fully explain it. As far as we spoke about,
Like
it
creates the
causes
cognitive
confusion.
dissonance, right?
Yeah,
Contradictory thought,
yeah,
right?
contradictory thoughts. For example, this whole statement here was the whole point me and Abu Hikaya was trying to make that when you're confused about something and your brain is questioning it, you should actually research about it rather than
Yeah,
accepting and
yeah, yeah. If you
denying it.
think about trans culture, right? Like trans people or something, the way they're going through it, like they always think that they're in the wrong body or something, because they're
Again,
like
the
that. Their
state of
gender is
confusion
not
in the
assigned
brain
with their
is,
mind.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, go.
exactly. The state of confusion in the brain, it is what, like, implements and causes the moral decay within the people itself. Then also
Mm-hmm.
the second line is this creates cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, actually, we're gonna have a different episode sometime soon about within the art of deception, within cognitive dissonance. So this is when the heart feels something is wrong, but the media makes it look right. Right. So
Yeah,
within our next episode, we're gonna also include this. This is a big topic to talk about, but this is not only gonna be the topic. There's major other topics about psychology, about media deception that we're gonna put up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna discuss about that in later episodes or something as well. Like we now have to finish up with embedded
Now,
symbolism or.
this is actually really serious, guys, and
Mhm.
this is what actually you know is a big thing. This is like one of the major things other than all what we have talked about. Because normalizing this is direct shirk. Direct shirk.
Mm-hmm.
And shirk is the biggest sin in Islam. It's the biggest sin. And we don't know.
Biggest of
Only
them
Allah
all,
knows
like
if He
biggest of
forgives
all
every sin.
sins.
Allah knows if He forgives. But shirk, you're comparing, you're denying to Allah. You're comparing Allah's power to an evil eye, to a nazar. What's this? You're thinking
Yeah,
a
yeah,
triangle on the eye
absolutely.
is cool. You're thinking devil horns when you have your profile picture in Instagram. It's cool. No,
Mm-hmm.
astaghfirullah, it's not. It's
That's
not.
not cool. Absolutely not.
It's not cool. Exactly. Like, these things are not often explained as per in the text. And they
Mm-hmm.
affect our amygdala, our brain, emotion. Then they, start like, expressing loss, rebellious acts, lost towards this and that. Bro, what is lust? Lust is there are two genders. I'm again saying there's two genders, male and female, and there's lust between them only. But
Mm-hmm.
what these hidden symbols and throughout all the deceptions, now we can see people are attracted to animals. People are attracted to this,
Absolutely.
to
Yeah,
furries.
zoophilia, bestiality.
This
Yeah,
is
what's
goofy
happening?
shit. I have to swear, but this is goofy. Like, I don't know how this happens, and may Allah bring guidance to the people who are doing this. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole aspect is the world is ruined within the aspect of embedded symbolism, because when we are seeing like evil eye, like often there's girls who are promoting evil eye. They are saying, yeah, it brings good, but often I've come to instances when I've spoken to some people, especially
It's like
girls
you're
who are promoting
bringing
evil
devil
eye.
into your house. That's the thing. You're
Yeah,
inviting him. You're
you're
inviting
inviting him.
him. That's the thing.
I'm gonna share a story about one person I spoke about this. At first, she was denying it, but then I came to aspect of, actually making her understand about this, because I gave her example that look at throughout your life. Your life used to be good, but when you came to the aspect of, believing in nazar, like evil eye, and different aspects, then you like yourself mentioned that my life doesn't feel full. I don't feel the peace itself. You're never going to feel the peace when you're against the word of Allah. You're never going to feel peace when you're doing shirk. Material is not peace. Having a Lamborghini is not peace. It's not the same. Maybe you guys are saying that no, having a Lamborghini is peace. Having money is peace. It is peace in some aspect when you achieved it through
Yeah,
halal
after
means.
achieving it, you're gonna feel numb. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yani, over time, the brain connects these symbols with power, freedom, identity, as we mentioned, or safety. And yeah, as far as Abu al Hiqaya also said, many of these symbols are connected to occult, shirk, like, like Kabbalah and
Absolutely, yeah. Occultism, right? The evil
yeah,
eye, the,
like,
the eye
yeah.
symbol, the nazar symbol, the evil eye symbol, or something like that. Like if you go to South Asian countries, even in Morocco and some other places, right? They like they have some sort of symbol like hamsa or something like that, like a hand symbol. In the middle of the hand there is there's some kind of symbol of eyes or something. They actually kind of feels like that this symbol's gonna save them from any
This is the
bad
exact
influences or
symbol I was
something.
talking about. This
Yeah. That's the thing. The
and
evil eye
this.
symbol and the
The
rainbow.
rainbow symbol also. The rainbow
Yeah.
symbol, it promotes freedom, but they've
No,
destroyed the whole meaning of rainbow. Often when I'm outside and it's raining and I see a rainbow, I feel ashamed that they have actually,
change the
this
meaning.
changed Allah's creation, changed the meaning of Allah's creation. And
Mm-hmm.
evil eye itself, they think this eye here, this eye, it is bringing good to them, but it's not. It's totally hilarious. People often who believe in evil eye, they have no sense of peace in their life, and one eye, it reflects back on the evil eye here. It is in music videos, clothing, branding, occult ideas, shirk. It promotes pride in sin, that I'm prideful to sin, it's okay to sin, I'm brave to sin. This is all falsehood here. And they're repeated throughout fashion, cool design, angel design with a big eye. It's cool now, wear it. Girls are not come to us. Akhi, girls are not gonna come to us for you. And when I mention girls, I mean good girls who are obedient
Yeah.
to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only the girls who are not obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are gonna be attracted. That's why there's a exact beautiful verse in the Quran. I don't know the surah. I know. I think you know the surah. It's good men are for good women. Bad women are for bad men.
Yeah, something
Bad
like that.
men are for
Yeah.
bad women. This exact verse, actually correlates with what I stated, that you're gonna find a person of your interest within your influence, because no obedient girl who goes by the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose family is good, and often within people whose families are good and religious, the evil eye also, like, implies. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, that no good person is gonna be attracted to you, and often if they are attracted also, they're also not gonna be good anymore, because this is gonna destroy them. So
Mm, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Islamic view on hidden symbols in media. If you go on, Abu al-Hiqaya.
Like if you consider it, like Islam teaches us to reject symbols linked to shirk. That's actually true. Like magic, immorality, or something. Even if they appear trendy and harmless, still we have to reject it. Like if you consider that all the scholars, right, explain
Hmm.
that symbols carry meanings that actually does have some sort of influence in our heart, even if you don't usually realize it whether it's have some sort of influence or not, but end of the day it will have some sort of impact. It's not like a some sort of impact, always gonna have heavy impact on you. Like the symbol of the evil eye or the nazar is if you consider it is actually not for protection. Maybe people gonna think that is actually gonna the evil eye is gonna protect you or something, but end of the day it doesn't. Like it always promotes fear and falsehood. The belief in objects is always gonna consider you to go to some kind of like falsehood, like false path or something like that, probably. Yeah,
Exactly.
if you consider that, like
Like
if it
the
promotes
child's
fear,
deception,
false belief
exactly.
in objects, what.
It's going to promote you to be linked to the child's deception.
Absolutely, like it promotes fear, false beliefs in object, right? It's not gonna promote you to believe in Allah. Like Allah has the power of good or bad, not the object. The object doesn't have any kind of power. Like it's like you feeling that the statue or idols have some sort of power. If you believe that the object can do anything, like it's a part of shirk. Like if you believe that object has power, like evil eyes or all these amulets or taweez, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you, right? The one eye symbol always linked to a dajjal in Islamic teachings, right? The Dajjali
Exactly.
teachings, right? The Dajjal has like two eyes, but one eye he is blind by one eye, and otherwise either eye is defected. So considering it like he is actually one eyed, so Dajjal himself actually symbol of deception. Like his eyes are also part of it. Like those symbols, like how it actually shapes our mind, if you consider it, right? Like the human brain is designate to notice symbols and patterns even in the background, right? Like any sort of pattern or symbol in our background, subconsciously we're gonna notice it. That's the thing. That's how our brain actually works. When we see same symbol often over and over time, again and again, again and again, like the one eye symbol or triangle or any sort of symbol or object, something like that, right? Even if you consider it, even if you go for rainbow symbol, the brain begins to associate it, then identify it as a safety or power, something like it's gonna make you feel better, it's gonna make you feel safe. This process actually called the symbolic conditioning. like like your brain is always conditioned to think that those sort of symbol is gonna protect you somehow. The mind accepted the meaning or in a manner that actually generates automatically, that is gonna make you feel consciously that gonna protect you. Even subconsciously it's gonna feel you better, it's gonna make you feel better or something. Like repeated exposure is also gonna desensitize you about those symbols. Like you're always designated, and like it's like you're always desensitized in this process, and the symbol is always gonna become part of your life. Like without it you're gonna feel that you're feeling some sort of emptiness inside your heart. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So
like without it, like you're gonna feel that something is missing, like you need something. Like those, if you think about those amulet, those people who actually always like always wear amulets or something, whenever they somehow lost those amulet or taweez, whatever you want to call it, right? They are gonna feel, they always feel some sort of like bad energy is gonna get into them or something. Like they are not feeling the right way. That's the problem, right? The questioning those symbol is always matter of understanding whether you're gonna question it or not, right? So you're always addicted to those sort of objects. Like without those objects you're always gonna feel bad, and that's actually gonna make you feel
exactly.
miserable in a long run. Like this occult symbols, right? Look, most teenagers actually wear those some sort of occult symbol, just to symbolize shirt or something. They don't actually realize that that's harmful impact of it. They think that's actually cool for them, they're wearing that or something. But because it's kind of some sort of trendiness or something, is always gonna make them feel their shiftiness actually making much more precise to the core. So the ideology towards it actually falls towards questioning it whether we're gonna follow Islam or object. So Al Wahid, brother Al Wahid, you can add to it.
There's nothing much to add to it right now because yeah, you have covered a lot of it, and I'm gonna go to the next pile. And within the next pile, we're gonna see the final reflection that how the audience and everyone around the world can protect the eyes from what we visualize, the ears from what we hear, and the heart from what we perceive and love.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything we see and hear affects our soul. Either it strengthens, either it weakens it. As we know, these messages throughout it can strengthen it or it can weaken it. The eyes and the ears are the main doors to the heart. Shaitan uses these to enter quietly. So even there's different aspects that you do not feel, that the emotional aspect, or you're like influenced by all these, but this actually affects heavily onto your life. Then it comes down to Islam teaches us to be mindful and disciplined about what we consume. Islam doesn't promote all these entertainment. Islam teaches us to be mindful and disciplined. Islam teaches us to question it. You're not a Muslim if you do not question deception.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to question it,
You have
right?
to question
Like,
deception, because if
yeah,
you don't question
don't,
deception, you can fall into
yeah,
shirk.
yeah, absolutely. Like that, it's haram to do taqlid or believe blindly. So if you're following something, right, you have to question it whether you're following the right path or not. If you don't question it, you're not gonna find the truth. That's the thing.
Exactly. So there's a exact verse in the Quran. It says, "Tell the believing men and women to lower their gaze and guard their modesty. That is purer for them. Indeed, Allah is all aware of what they do." So, indeed, brothers and sisters, whatever you do, Allah is aware. Allah, Rabbul Izzah, is the sustainer of everything, and nothing
Mhm.
sustains Him. He's the sustainer of everything. So, be aware that He is aware of everything what you do, and your actions have consequences, as far as Abu al says. There's a
Mhm.
beautiful quote here that your eyes and ears are a trust. So it is a trust that Allah has given you. Allah has trusted you with your eyes and ears. So what you allow in and shapes who you become. So whatever you
Absolutely.
allow in the trust, if you break the trust, like during the time of the Prophet, that people, what was the treaty named that they broke the trust? Abu al-Liqaya?
The bottom line is your thought process shapes you. The
Indeed.
you do things the way you do things the way you think about it. That's the thing. Your intention does matter here.
Okay, so as far as we have completed speaking about this, and now overall aspect is we have covered through a lot today, and we've covered through the unseen influences. We spoke about the five categories within the subliminal um, understanding, and also we're gonna have an article regarding that, so the audiences can capture and analyze what is written and be more educated about this particular sector, because this particular sector is not often looked upon within people, and it should be, because it is influencing each and every person. It is even influencing me, Abu Al-Hiqaya, and every person in the world, directly
Yeah,
or
even me.
indirectly. Exactly. So we're ending this episode today with a warm Eid Mubarak to everyone. Wish you had a
Eid
really good
Mubarak.
Eid, and really thanks to my brother Abu Al-Hiqaya for helping me with the slide and everything here. So we can provide to you. We're also gonna soon have other episodes regarding the art of deception, so you better watch. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.